Conservative MP Michael Cooper told a Muslim activist at the Justice Committee he should be ashamed of his comments about the far right. And then Mr. Cooper quoted from the manifesto of the suspected Christchurch mosque shooter, the mass killer. Scheer then stripped Mr. Cooper of his seat in the Justice Committee. But does the punishment go far enough? Some Liberals want him booted from the caucus. Should Mr. Cooper be expelled from the party or not? Meantime, Conservative Leader Andrew Scheer has announced he won't march in any gay pride parades this year. How does that square with his message of inclusiveness? To talk about all that, the Scrum is back. Tana McCharles, Joyce Napier, Craig Oliver, and our special guest this round is the former Conservative Immigration Minister, Chris Alexander. Great to have everyone back. Mr. Alexander, always good to start with you. Do you think Andrew Scheer's punishment for Michael Cooper's actions warrant just what he did, kicking him off the Justice Committee, or after he made that big speech that if you have any hate in your heart, here's the door, should he have taken tougher stance?
Well, I think it's a serious punishment being removed from the committee, and it was a serious mistake. No one in elected office or any position of influence should be advertising, become a spokesperson for any manifesto of extremists, whether they're anti-Muslim extremists, as in this case, or jihadist groups, terrorist groups, groups advocating violence in any form. And so I think the punishment had to happen. I think it's appropriate in the circumstances. That said, we need to look at the bigger picture here. We are in a polarizing political environment, not just in Canada, but around the world, where opposing sides endeavor to identify their adversary, the people they don't agree with the most extreme views on the other side. And Cooper is not identifying with this madman who committed a huge crime in New Zealand. Just as no one in Canada, right, I don't think, in a position of responsibility is identifying with extreme positions. So let's bring the middle back into focus.
Right, but I guess the concern with that was that Mr. Cooper himself didn't know where the middle was. And in bringing those words shows that he was prepared to use them. But I think he was responding to a witness using the word conservative commentators, and then boom. It won't surprise you, perhaps, to know that while he was punished, and some people on the outside feel he ought to have been punished more, some of his critics, Mr. Cooper's critics, that is, he's a very well-liked caucus member. And there was a lot of support within caucus, actually, for him. And he apologized to his Conservative colleagues for embarrassing the party. And so, on that basis alone, he got a lot of goodwill amongst his colleagues. So certainly, I think Chris has hit something on the head here. This is a very politically charged environment right now, and there is no room for slip-ups.
But
it was a chance for Scheer to use that door, however.
That's right.
After the speech he made.
Yes.
And he could have just kicked him out of caucus, take him back if he's reelected. I think he need to drive home in some dramatic way that excellent, admirable speech Scheer made.
Joyce.
Well, I think what's worrisome is that he actually came to the committee with the manifesto of the alleged killer of Christchurch. So, you wonder why were you prepared to, what were you going to do with that before the witness even started speaking? But I agree with Tonda. It was the conservative commentators part that irritated the MP, Michael Cooper. But what is even more worrisome, I think, is how they decided to erase it from the record of the committee. Now that is something we should all pay, because his mistake is a mistake. It's obviously a mistake. Obviously, it was a slap on the hands because,
right,
the committee's going to sit for another 4 weeks. But erasing something from a record and rewriting, basically, deciding that, oh, this is too offensive, we're going to take it off the record, that is a very dangerous thing.
All right, let me talk about this pride parades. Andrew Scheer's not going to march in any pride parade. Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh, of course, they are. There's a long tradition of this. Some premiers don't do it, like Doug Ford. But Andrew Scheer says, look, I still support LGBTQ rights. Is he sending mixed signals to voters if he can't literally walk the walk? Chris Alexander.
I think his message is very clear on this front, and it's the right message. The Conservative Party represents all of Canada. in its caucus, in its membership, and that includes, in this country, a very strong and strongly voiced LGBTQ
But why doesn't
community.
well, one way to voice it is to just show up and march. Like, I just don't, like, how do you say, I strongly support you, but I'm busy in every single parade?
No, it's a missed opportunity, I think. And here, we as Conservatives and Canadians as a whole have to recognize that not only is this an important group that is facing tough odds and discrimination and all kinds of mistreatment still in Canada, but even more so around the world. Canada has leadership. Canada has leadership to play on this front, and these are.
Well, why is Scheer so worried about the hardcore, brass-bound Conservatives? They're not going anywhere anyway. So why didn't he do it and get some credit for his openness and generosity, and then the others will understand that he had
It is much more than a missed opportunity. I'm sorry. It is a statement. It is a bold statement. Let's face it. Let's not try to make this look like anything else. He's not marching in the Pride. It is clear what the message is to the community, and that's it. It is not even subtle. There's no opportunity missed here. It is a message, and it should be received for what it is.
And here we are on the end of the serial killer in the gay village in Toronto, right? We've had this entire, and so this is a very poignant issue.
This is a statement that means a lot to LGBTQ people. Yes. It speaks to them. It reinforces and affirms their value as human beings and their equal value. And I'm sorry, if you're auditioning to be the Prime Minister of this country, show up and march.
Yeah.
All right, I got to leave it there. Chris Alexander, Tawna McCharles, Joyce Napier, Craig Oliver, thanks, of course, for watching.